So it is about 4 o'clock in the morning, and a little bit earlier tonight or this morning, I was scrolling. I was up. My baby woke me up, and so I hadn't been able to go back to sleep. And I was scrolling on TikTok, and I came across a 25-year-old woman slash girl. I came across her post, and she was kind of talking about how is it that fellow Black women have learned how to be emotionless. One that struck a chord with me, it made me wince up, like make a face, because one, even though I hate the term Black, I know who she's talking to. And it hurts me to think that women believe that they have to be emotionless to survive in society today. So that was the first thing that got me. I went into the comments. I didn't read a lot of the comments. I really wanted to just kind of focus on what I wanted to share. And the way that I shared was in the form of asking questions, because I don't know about you, but in my formative years, which honestly is still going on, but they're most often going on at those ages, I had a lot of questions myself, and I asked them, but I asked them of the Most High. So I was oftentimes talking to myself. And sometimes I would ask people who I felt comfortable to talk to. And here's the thing, you're gonna get a lot of different answers. So my questions were, who was she comparing herself to? Now, listen, we all know that comparison can get the best of us. Even you comparing yourself to a former version of yourself, depending on how you're doing that, it can be detrimental to you and your mental, okay? But I found that a lot of times around that time frame, we are looking around and we're looking at other people that we went to school with, people that we grew up with, people that we don't even know, but we may admire them. We may feel as if they're living the type of lifestyle that we desire to live. And let me be very, very frank and very clear. That can still happen at 39, 40, 50. Like, there is no age restriction to me, because it depends on a mentality, a mindset. So that was one of the first questions I asked. Who was she comparing herself to? And then the next thing I asked was, who created a timeline? Because she mentioned, if I didn't say this already, that she was getting super emotional because she wasn't at the place that she felt like she should be at 25. First, I resonate very, very strongly with this line of thinking. Secondly, because I resonate, that's why I'm so moved to talk about this. You guys, do y'all realize there is no real timeline but the one that we create ourselves? And it needs to be created by us, for us. I'm not talking about a fabricated and pieced together timeline from somebody over here and somebody who said you should be doing this, and even these promoted ideals. It really sincerely has to come from within your own soul. And so I asked, who created the timeline? Like, what is this timeline that you are basing your, what that is your metric system? What are you measuring yourself by? And then, who created that? Now, if it's her that created it, she can dismantle it. But when, and this is to all the people, like, this is the way that I would love to have shared. to anybody who might be feeling the same way as her. If you created the timeline from your own inside parts and from what you know about yourself, even if you are disappointed in where you are, that is time to recalibrate. That is time for you to look at our habits, look at what you've been doing and why, or what you haven't been doing, and look at your why. And then if you don't like, if you sincerely, like in your soul, you know you're off and you know that you could be doing better, you then have to retrain your brain to go back towards doing what you think is better, your ideal of better. But if you find that what you're comparing yourself to isn't even your own rubric, it's not even anything that really comes from you for real, it's societal pressures and societal norms, and when I say societal, that's talking about family, college, school, whatever. Anything that is outside of you, which is really a reflection of some sort. If it's outside of you, I highly suggest that you sit with your own soul. That you reflect on your childhood, on your early adolescence. I would say childhood because to me, in your early childhood is when you are most potently yourself, most powerfully yourself. It is time, it is other people who begin to have an influence on how that being shows up. But initially, you have a power. And sometimes you have to reflect. You got to go all the way back. So I would suggest going back, and reflecting on that energy. What did she like? What was her desires? What does she want to do? And recalibrate. Use that to be a guiding post, a lighthouse, if you will. And if you find that you couldn't go back that far, or that those things and desires have changed, or that you somehow accomplished those things, but maybe that wasn't really you either, or it's not you anymore. Do you know the beauty of our minds, you guys? You can become whoever you think you want to become at this new age in your life. And the truth is the only person who can really lead the way on that is you first. And then you begin to search for others who are living a lifestyle, who are doing the thing that you desire to do. But even still, their path to living that lifestyle may not be the same as yours. So you still have to trust ultimately yourself. I would also say cry. If there are any hardened women in this world who are emotionless, I would venture to say that it is because there is something within them that they have had to turn off, that they have had to unlock. It depends on perception. I do not believe that is, in fact, the power of feminine or even masculine energy, because let me tell y'all something before I let you go. Masculine energy is the energy that expresses. It is what comes outward. It is what is made clear and made manifest. So it is actually masculine to cry. It is actually masculine and expressive to feel your feelings. And not only for you to feel your feelings, but for other people around you to know what you're feeling. It is very feminine to be dealing with that internally, quietly. And for others, maybe not to know exactly what's going on, but to be able to feel that shit. That's feminine energy. And we need both of them to be at work. in our lives, and that is men and women. But right now we're talking to the ladies. It is okay to cry. Crying can be freeing, it can be cleansing, and it can be a reset if you allow it to be. So cry, get it out, and then from there, observe your feelings like a scientist, or observe your feelings like you are the counselor and the patient. Like you're a good girlfriend or a sister, okay? Offer yourself some compassion, but ask some questions. Why are you feeling like this? What feelings do you feel are coming up, so they can be addressed, so they can be spoken to? Because whatever thoughts you could be telling yourself, they need to be reframed, or they need to be dismantled and totally rebuilt. Peace, love, light, and darkness, which all work together to bring balance and harmony, first within ourselves and then within our world. This is my 2 cents on that, and she was the motivating force. But I know that there are other people who have experienced things like this, or who could be currently comparing themselves, and I just felt like this would be my love letter to them, my conversation starter with them. All right, guys, sorry, something's in my eye. Bye.